Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your brother Bolo VNR. As you come through the door, please remember to hit the like button. We have George Smith, George Wright, defenders coming out. I'm very disappointed. You know what I'm hearing? Terrylonge getting exposed in Portmore. And just the JLP character. The characters of the individuals that are in leadership, in my opinion, has been thoroughly exposed, and I'm gonna explain to you why, and I'm gonna show you why in this one. So let's get right into it. All right, so let's hear from one of George Wright defenders, one of the persons that I really did not expect to be a George Wright defender. Let's listen to this.
Hail up YouTube family and the Maverick in this piece one more time. Still, best and most credible, still, fear and fearless. Yeah, I understand the settings. Ride and whistle. That means it's a matter of urgency. I want to implore the viewer to continue to do the right thing. Press that bell, subscribe button there. Make me go and build up the numbers so the Maverick can continue to do the right thing. Boom, boom. Content just issued on the public space. George Wright, the Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland, in the news again. He was the MP when he get caught on this surveillance video. Him and his girlfriend at the time, he did some altercation and, physical altercation, and him gave her 2 knocks, I'm not gonna lie. And of course, everybody was flabbergasted at the time, quite rightly so. Angry at the Member of Parliament, for lame and for the woman. And of course, subsequent to that, now there was a fallout with him and him party. Him end up was sitting over on the opposition side as a, what you call that, a neutral? Well, he was still Member of Parliament, but I don't think he was actively representing the JLP for a minute. But fast forward now to 2025, silly season time, election time, and George Wright is back in the fold, representing Jamaica Labour Party in a Central Westmoreland. PNP and the women's movement, lots of people in the civil society, everybody will lose them here over it. What he did was wrong. Totally wrong. But does it merit him being totally cancelled from living his life? Totally cancelled from service? Totally cancelled from making a livelihood? Me don't think so. You know why? Because we say only for more people. The worst of things are George Wright and society welcome them back in the fold with wide open arms. In this very same politics here. In this very same parliament. Yeah? People do worse things. And they are welcome back into the fold. Not a word on that. Some of them we are referred to them as this honorable and that honorable and OM and OD.
No, I am not saying what he's saying is not true. But 2 wrongs don't make a right. Right? The fact that he's saying that other people before did worse things than him, and that is subjective. He can say that it's worse. Alright, that is his opinion. The viciousness and the viciousness that George Wright in that clip, which appears to be George Wright in that clip hitting that woman with that chair, that was not the first time. Nobody can convince me that's not a nature of this man. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen again. It is going to come up again. Mark my words, this is not going to be the last time you're going to hear about George Wright's name being called in some type of abuse. I'm telling you, wait for it. Calling it right now today. The way that man was cocking his hand back and hitting that lady. Yeah. That was not the first time. This man has, in my opinion, right? It appears to be him in the video, and if it's him, which he has not denied, if it is him, this is not the first time, and it's definitely not going to be the last. All right, but let's continue.
The hypocrite thing we don't do.
The hypocrite thing is where I'm flabbergasted. All right, who is it? Who are you calling a hypocrite, or Tracy? The people of Jamaica are the people in the government. If it's the people in the government, yes, there are some of them that are hypocrites. Right? But again, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Not because other people. Look at Isaac Buchanan. Who remember when they were tearing down Isaac Buchanan because Isaac Buchanan was was now going to be in government. You remember the vitriol that the JLP came with, and still in attack of Isaac Buchanan. And Isaac Buchanan did not put his hands on any woman. Right? But I would love for Oral Tracy to start naming some names of who is worse than George Wright. I would love for him to start naming some names. Who is worse than George Wright that they have accepted? Very interesting.
The green shirt side on that one. And it's not a matter of shirt side. But on the other side, on the principle side of that something. Me not in the hypocrite thing. Me not in the self-righteous hypocrite thing. No for who are utter them sound and condemn George Wright. Them endorse, hug up, embrace and welcome people with the worst crime than this.
Please, I want you to expose who you're talking about. Because even with that argument, I am still lost as to how could you stand behind George Wright. As a man, and you said that you have a daughter. At some point in this, he said he had a daughter, which shocked the hell out of me. And even his daughter was in agreement that the man should not be in government. What are we? This man is a legislator. He's somebody that is going to write laws, enact laws, and he's breaking the law allegedly. Putting his hands on a woman. I don't care if the woman forgive him. We've seen many cases where women forgive men that beat them. It's called Stockholm Syndrome, where you make excuses for your abuser. That don't say shit, Oral Tracy. I'm really disappointed in Oral Tracy, honestly. This is sad.
Man should have put them on a woman. But what are the consequences a man should face if at some point he commit that indiscretion there? What are the consequences? The end of life? The end of livelihood? Eh?
Now you're exaggerating. George Wright can go do something else. Since as the people in that place love him so much, him can go start a business, him can do all type of thing. Don't have to be a politician or a legislator. So that's cap. Alright? That's cap. Absolute cap. Crazy, bro. I am so disappointed, bro. This is sad, man.
He's forfeiting the right to earn a living.
Yo, bro. You are glazing right now, Oral Tracy. I'm talking about you are glazing. Forfeit the right to have a living? Nobody's saying that. Patrick Wagwan. Nobody's saying. Y'all hit that like button. I'm not going to be long today. I need to get through this because my head hurting me just listening to this shit.
Represent the people. Me no buy that something there. Me have a little discussion about it with my daughter.
You hear this?
Daughter. And me ask her what she think about that something. You think the man should get cancelled because of that incident? And she said, yes, daddy.
Instantly. Game over. Game over. I don't want to hear nothing else from you, Oral Tracy. And he still disagreed with his daughter. Man, oh man, that is some sad stuff, boy. And if it couldn't get worse, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear this.
Redemption is important. And in our country, we've always been that kind of a country that believed that there's second chances.
So why you guys were attacking a man that served this time, made something of himself and became a lawyer? Why were you guys attacking? Your party was attacking Isaac Buchanan.
Hey, who man's is this? Oh, man's is this?
I'm talking about the hypocrisy.
And when we talk about domestic violence, it's really a very complex matter because invariably you have issues in relation to what persons would have experienced growing up, what they would.
Now, see, she always talks around the moon about the issue that is very, very clear. What the hell does that have to do with we seen a video of the man hitting her with a chair? You are a woman and you're a Christian? Allegedly? Man, you can't make this up, bruh.
would have seen in their communities, what may seem normal to them.
On Tuesday, the People's National Party's Women's Movement held a press conference blasting the JLP for readmitting Wright. They also called for the party to explain what kind of mitigative measures were held with him. Wright was caught in the middle of controversy in 2021 after a man was seen in a video beating a woman with a stool.
Discuss these matters with other women who have experienced this kind of violence. It is something we have to address, but it's not one that you address solely from the standpoint of the woman. You also have to address it from the standpoint of the males who may be involved, and you have to do the counseling. And in this case, there was counseling.
So there was counseling, and he never admitted that he did anything wrong, and that's okay. That's all you got, huh? All right. I just want y'all to listen to this clip. Do I have the clip? Is it on here? No. I gotta share my short because the hypocrisy. Hey, let me show you what's hypocrisy, Oral Tracy. Cause yeah.
Hey, it's about the Bolo VNR, and
I cannot believe Oral Tracy is co-signing this man being reinstated. Glazing this man, talking about, man, I am so disappointed in the Maverick, bro. Yeah. I've lost a few levels of respect for you, sir. Real talk. But anyway, let's listen to this, cause like I said, I'm blasting through this quick and fast, ladies and gentlemen. All right, look at this.
You use all the forms of communication, and that is my job. My job is to bring to the public the political understanding of issues. I get a sense from Jamaicans that there are some Jamaicans who want to make excuses for government failure. This is an ultimate failure of the government. It's a political issue. Make no mistake about it.
It's big enough to man them. However, today, my job is to remind you that the Jamaica Labour Party has a strong track record of actively supporting and empowering our women.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No bullshit, bro. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop.
Hey, who mans is this? Oh, mans is this?
What can go so? What can go so? What can go so?
Emotional damage.
We don't feel comfortable sitting in Parliament with a Minister of Government who has openly accepted responsibility, who expresses no regret for the act, where a Commission of Parliament has confirmed that the act is corrupt and has referred it for prosecution, and that Minister shows no sign of wanting to resign, or the Prime Minister showing no signs of moving to dismiss the minister.
With all the sympathy that one can have for support, this is embarrassing, not only to the government as a party, not only the PNP, but to the government, to Jamaica, to all of us. Our heads bow this morning with this sort of reaction to it.
So we have to take firm actions in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica, where the Prime Minister is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence, and in which the institutions of the society are all agree that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith and has breached the confidence that the people have placed in them. I believe that this has the potential, if it continues, to bring down the entire government. You use all the forms of communication, and that is my job. My job is to bring.
So, the Prime Minister could not sit in Parliament with Hassan, right? Because he built some shops for vendors that needed. Judith, what are you doing? That needed, some shops so they can earn a living. He cut corners to do it. But you can sit in Parliament with George Wright after what he allegedly did to that woman in the video. Took up a whole chair. Allegedly, it appears that he's in the video taking a stool and hitting that lady across her head several times, ran her down. And Oral Tracy is going to try and tell me, and looks like we have somebody in the chat capping. Let me see what this person is saying. Can you please tell me what and who is worse than George Wright? Oh, okay. I don't know. I really want Oral Tracy to clear that up. And if he's doing it for content, I totally understand. The engagement in the chat when he said that, it should be off the charts, that video that he did. But the way how he looked in the video, to me, he was genuinely defending George Wright to be not only a member of Parliament but a legislator. I have a serious problem with that. But let's listen to the young arm of the JLP. And I've not heard this. This is my raw reaction. They call themselves G2K. It says G2K chides PNP's hypocritical stance on George Wright. Let me show you on the screen. Alright. Boom. There it is. This is on Nationwide. Let's listen to this.
G2K says it notes that the women of the PNP, who were eerily silent when several of their own were arrested and charged for alleged acts of violence, found their voices on Tuesday. G2K named Jolyon Silvera, Mikael Phillips, and Natalie Nita Garvey. G2K says it further notes that the PNP women chided the JLP for its readmission of George Wright as a member. The group says this despite the fact that Wright has taken several mitigating steps, including counseling over 2 years, and has recently married. Wright resigned from the JLP in June 2021 amid public pressure over a viral video that showed a man beating a woman with a stool. But he was never charged. G2K is condemning what it describes as the opportunistic display by the PNP women, including Patricia Duncan Sutherland, Gabrielle Morris, Angela Brownberg, and Denise Daly. They say it appears the group of PNP women are attempting to prey upon the emotions of Jamaicans while showing up their own inconsistency and hypocrisy. G2K adds that the PNP women's movement was also silent when it came to public attention that the female partner of Philip Paulwell was charged with murdering the mother of one of his children and her 10-month-old child. The youth arm says it's hopeful that the PNP women will conduct introspection, recognize their hypocrisy, and apply a more serious approach to the crucial issues of domestic violence and rehabilitation. G2K is also questioning why the PNP women failed to clarify at their media conference the circumstances surrounding the murder of Mrs. Melissa Silvera, allegedly by their colleague. The PNP's leadership had initially announced via social media that Mrs. Silvera passed on.
So, Melissa Silvera, that situation is not something they should have brought up, because guess what? That situation is an allegation that's in court. Alright? And I don't think there's nobody in the PNP that is supporting somebody that is proven to be a murderer. Alright? Or unaliving a woman. Alright? So that's cap. I don't know about Mikael Phillips and Natalie Garvey. Let me hear some more.
In her sleep. G2K says it sympathizes with every victim of domestic violence. The youth arm adds that the Jamaica Labour Party administration is strong in protecting women from gender-based violence, including the opening of shelters for victims of domestic abuse. They say the Wholeness administration has also established a hotline for victims of abuse to call and access help. According to G2K, Jamaica deserves a better and more consistent approach from women who aspire to lead the country than what was displayed by the PNP women at their media conference. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
Let me see what else they got, because I would really love to hear about Mikael Phillips. And let me hear that again. Let me listen to that again.
G2K says it notes that the women of the PNP, who were eerily silent when several of their own were arrested and charged for alleged acts of violence, found their voices.
They were arrested and charged for alleged acts? Let me look that up. Let me look that up. Is this who Oral Tracy was talking about? And why would Oral Tracy not speak on these names, since as it's a ironclad case of, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. Or Mike Phillips to stand trial next year. January next. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We got action. We got action. We got action. Once you, all you gotta do is type in the words "we got action," ladies and gentlemen, because I don't support none of it. I'm not aware of this case. Apologizes to family and PNP for breaching the IC. Oh, that's different. All right, here we go. Former PNP candidate, East Rural St. Andrew, Mikael Phillips, is to stand trial next year on assault charges. Mr. Phillips, the son of Dr. Phillips, appears in the Halfway Tree criminal Tuesday on charges that he assaulted his wife earlier this year. Mr. Phillips has strongly denied allegation. Okay. 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 Hey, listen, that is a big difference between George Wright. This right here? Oh yeah, this right here is the big difference between George Wright. George Wright has not come out and admitted or denied that he's the person in the video. Mr. Phillips, to his credit, has strongly denied allegations. Context matters. However, investigators report that in February this year, Mr. Phillips and his estranged wife, Michelle, who involved in a custody battle, got into a dispute in Beverly Hills residence. During the dispute, it's alleged that she was physically assaulted. The matter was reported to the St. Andrew Central Police, who summoned Mr. Phillips to court to answer charges of assaulting a female and assault, occasionally bodily harm. He is to return to court on January 7th. Mr. Phillips lost to the JLP's Joburg, blah, 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 blah. What's the final follow-up of this story? That's what I want to know. I want to know, is this still in court? That was 2008. I want to know where this case went. Because it shouldn't be in court still. It should not be in court. What's the update? Alright, so what's the update? When was this? I need to find out. I need to find out.
Love is in the air with Flow this Valentine's. Sign up for Yarden Road for only $6,300.
Yes. Dr. Peter Phillips is the man who was responsible for giving us a gang anything, but that, you know, make it was a tax somebody. But the correct wording is assault occasioning bodily harm to his estranged wife Michelle, and was served as summon instead of arresting him as per standard operating procedures. Because in normal circumstances, once a policeman visit the residence and would see that the wife have any bruises, because that's what you have to charge him for occasional assault, occasionally body harm, you would make sure your duty as a police officer is to arrest the perpetrator, the husband, right then and there. But because he's Dr. Peter Phillips' son, you know, and at the time the PNP was in power, so you know the police force, it's always corrupted with political who they wear the uniform, but they're not police officers, they're political activists in uniform. So he's charged with beating up his wife. Why he's in the PNP LGBT plus party as an MP? Well, Mark Gold.
Well, that's a propaganda. I need facts. I need facts and evidence. Alright? Let me see. Mikael Phillips, was he charged? And if he was charged, he should be in prison, right? He has to be in prison. He has to be in prison. Alright? Hmm. 2008 is a long time ago. Oh, I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. Anybody know about this case? Does anybody know about this case? I'm not seeing any updates. I'm not seeing any updates. The last thing that his name came up in is the IC. What's up? What's up, ABR News? Salute to you, love. Hey, I'm gonna go over that video you did. That was an excellent live. I wanna play that audio of that, brother. Sonia, what's going on? So, hey, ABR, do you know about the case with Mikael Phillips? Because G2K, can I call you, by the way? Can I call you? Do you know about the case? Yeah, let me call you. Let me know if you're available. Yeah, just let me know if you're available. Call me right now, ABR, if you're available. Oh, you in noise? Okay, I got you. But this case with Mikael Phillips and his wife, is it settled? Because this G2K is using that to say, oh, George Wright should be reinstated because the women of the PMPs being hypocrites. Now, I'm not aware of those cases, so I can't speak on it, and I'm trying to figure out if that's the same thing that Oral Tracy is talking about. They even spoke about, they say, yes, it was settled from what I heard. So did he plead guilty? Because that's important. Because he strongly denied the allegations, unlike George Wright. Strongly denied it. Right? So did he plead guilty? What was that? You know what I'm saying? G2K talked about Jolan Silvera. Alright, so I'm going to leave this reaction right there because I am not aware, ladies and gentlemen, of that particular situation, to be honest with you. I'm not aware of it. I'm not privy to the information. But let me just say this as a blanket statement. I don't support no man being a member of parliament that put his hands on his wife. Especially, I'm talking about especially if you're somebody that is going to make laws. I don't support it. I don't care if you want a PMP. I don't care if you want a JLP. Let it be known. So I totally disagree with Oral Tracy. I totally disagree with G2K. I totally disagree with anybody that's standing behind George Wright. I totally disagree. All right? Totally. All right? Let it be known. Anywho, let's get to the next topic because I really want to get out of here real quick. I don't want to be on here. All right, so this is the situation right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Moment the meeting descended into chaos. What was supposed to be an open discussion about Portmore becoming the 15th parish turned into a shouting match between JLP and PNP supporters. PNP
plans advance.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, Terrylonge definitely exposed the character of the Jamaica Labour Party in this one. Yes. Let's go to that story. I don't want to waste any time.
Advance for Portmore to become the 15th parish. Supporters from both political parties were adamant to voice their concerns at all costs. Kalisha Williams has her first story.
The moment the meeting descended into chaos. What was supposed to be an open discussion about Portmore becoming the 15th parish turned into a shouting match between JLP and PNP supporters. In fact, it appears there were plans to launch a protest at the meeting as many people quickly pulled out placards. From one angle, it seems like they were directing the shame on you comments to MP for East Central St. Catherine Orlando Terrylonge. However, persons decked in green also chimed in, pointing fingers at PNP representatives. And at one point, it almost got physical. There's not a single event that caused the meeting to get boisterous, but it was clear that many people have been on edge since the question and answer segments began.
I am very concerned about. Do not stop me from talking.
No. Look at me. Look at me. Hello, look at me. Hello.
So, you see, this is what I gather from this. The JLP does not want to have any discussion with the people of Portmore. They want to continue their gerrymandering. Because if they wanted to have a discussion, a real discussion, a real consensus about how the people feel, what they would have done is not carry people there with placards. Alright? Talking about third term. What the hell does that have to do with Portmore being a parish? You're exposing yourself. You're exposing yourself to be a gerrymanderer. All of you. It's clear, like nobody in their right mind. Big up yourself, UB comrade. Right? There's nobody in their right mind that if I was to ask somebody that's outside of Jamaica that has nothing to do with this government and this whole politics, looking at your actions as the JLP, everybody knows that this is gerrymandering.
This is what you want people to say? Hello? No. Once you're in this room, once you're in the room, hello? No.
In the end, many people were disappointed that this order reigned supreme at the meeting with little control.
The meeting actually is a disaster because first of all, the moderator did not, to me, he was extremely weak.
Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
Alright, so big up that clip there from the TVJ News. Now, we want to go to ABR News, ABR TV News. This is her clip. Somebody that was actually there, ABR News TV, somebody that was actually there called in. Alright, somebody that's actually from Portmore to give a proper perspective about the chaos that ensued at that meeting in Portmore. So, if you guys are not yet familiar with ABR News, hey mama, drop your link in our chat so that you can follow you, alright? Let's get it.
Blessed morning, my caller. You're live on the ABR show.
Good morning to all my ABR family. Good morning to you as well, Alexander.
Yes. So I just wanted to confirm to everybody on the live, you called me this morning saying that you were at the town hall meeting yesterday.
Definitely was on the town hall yesterday. Last night.
Yeah.
Last night. When we get to that meeting and went upstairs, the minister was talking one little lies and tell her that your land is going to go up, and when people start to ask him certain questions, he will know answer certain questions, and like he must say your land and tax go better, and then when he come down now to talk and people start talk and to say them 2 cents now, some people come up and start show coming more politicize the meeting, start showing placard, third loading. We want Portmore to be city, so people say, some people look at and say, but the man come from Fletcher's land. The man come from Fletcher's land. Where they come from? Portmore people.
So hold on. So those people who came with the placards came with the minister?
Yes, with the minister they came with. They came with the minister. So people realize that them people are from Portmore. Portmore people now come at a meeting to discuss. To discuss with the minister to find out the way forward and if we are in agreement or we're not in agreement.
Fair enough, yeah.
But when you come to a meeting where people come with placard right up, third term loading, we want Portmore to be a city. We never come for that. We come for discuss, go to discussion meeting. You don't say you never see nobody else have a placard, but only members of the JLP them have placard in the meeting. There are people who have no, there are people who is there, not belong to no party.
Okay.
People just come there to get information and know what is going on. Like myself and the people go there. My friend who came there with me, him came there just to get information and to know what the situation is about and where the parish is, where the, as them say, parish now is going, and if it's feasible and if it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then he began to get into politicized, saying that is Edward Siaga built Portmore. Most of the people have said no, don't go there so. Don't go there so. No makes sense to go there so. And still Terrylonge and talking, telling lies, and people start booing, and then come down and then people start reel up on a show placard, and people say, no man, it's a Terrylonge, shame on you man. That's what I come here to. So that's why people say, that's why people start saying shame on you, and people start getting at him and say shame on you. And then
now, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear that, when you hear the context, big up yourself Shayrock and big up yourself Delroy. You guys hear the context of this situation here? This is an individual calling and speaking to Isabella Rose on our platform on our live this morning. That was at the meeting, and he's giving you the full of how things happen. So it appears, based on what he's saying, and I'm not surprised, that Terry, whatever this guy's name is, that you see on the screen, did not come there to have a discussion with the people. He came there to campaign, to let them know, oh, it's going to be better, and this and that. But he didn't want to listen to the people, or whether or not they wanted it to become a parish, or if it made sense for them. You understand? There are financial implications with it becoming a parish. You know, people land titles and their license and everything have to change. And I heard somebody ask the question on a platform, I don't remember where or who. I think it was Wayne Lonesome. I'm not sure. Who's going to pay? Is the government going to pay for these people expenses where their documentations are changed? Or is that going to be another incurred cost by the people for the smallest parish? Even Mr. Mark Stewart, I had to apologize to him because I misinterpreted and misunderstood what he was saying in a video, and that is well documented. The point of the matter is, I heard him on a live that he did speaking as to prophetically why they are doing this, and it has to do, according to him, with, you know, legacies. It has to do with a man, a politician putting his name on something, just like how Edward Siaga, they fought for Edward Siaga name to be on a highway that he did not build and was kind of against the PNP build. You know, yeah man, you guys go and subscribe to ABR News TV if you haven't already. But yeah, and then he's gonna tell the people that Siaga built Portmore. I mean, now I understand why the people were saying shame on you. It's a damn shame. Like and share the video, guys.
Started and then if you notice, when he was talking when he bent to the police, to the police, say, grab the phone. If you look at his mouth, he was telling the police to grab the phone. Then he himself, when he get up, he tried to grab Mr. Raymond Price's phone.
Oh, so it's indeed Raymond Price's phone that he tried to grab.
Right, right.
Okay.
Because if you look at Raymond Price, I want the peak cap and the grey, Jack the grey, army looking, brown looking army shirt. So those people with the placard, a lot of people don't know that I never seen them before. Because if they come from poor people, I don't know yet, because they know most of people, and I don't know people. People say they don't know, and people say, a man come up, but they say, what them people are there, the first time people come from, what them people are there, so, and them never Portmore.
So they come.
No, that is very interesting. These people could identify that these people did not come from Portmore. You know what? You know it's Jamaica, right? Lorraine, how you doing? You know it's Jamaica. Everybody know everybody. It's a small place. You don't come from Portmore. What are you doing here? This has nothing to do with you. That tells you the gerrymandering that's going on. When you have people outside of Portmore, right, is coming to meetings about Portmore. Yeah. That has no, like, you got nothing to do with this. This is about us. That's a damn shame, man.
They came all the way from Fletcher's Land.
Fletcher's Land. To interrupt the meeting. That's what they came to. They came was here, what they've won.
So they might try coming out to bully the people.
Right. One day came was to interrupt the meeting, and it's either their way or the meeting not going to mash up. They never want to hear nothing from nobody else. They just want day to speak, and nobody else. Ask them, rebut them, ask them a question, and find out nothing, and then do them please. So that was the whole agenda. Because if you go to a meeting to discuss something, why are you going with one person write up much plaque and give person to come there for all up in the meeting? To write up on that one, sit parish and third term rewarding and all and something there.
I even see at one point one of the gentlemen grab one of the placards. Who was that person?
That was the mayor who grabbed the placard and said, we're not coming after this, come out with that. That's not relevant enough, so come out with this. Because it wasn't a political meeting.
Exactly.
It's not a political. It was a meeting to discuss about Portmore becoming a parish. And he was saying that the price of your value gone up. So, and he was saying there's more job opportunities and this. So a person look at him and say, job opportunity.
No, I just showed you where the mayor actually grabbed the placard. Because we're not here for that. Right here. At the starting of this video. Look, if you watch closely. Boom. You see the placard in his hand right there, and the lady, see it, he's crushing it. Right, so he grabbed it. So, you know, context really matters, because I was listening to the Jamaica Carlos this morning, and he was saying it's wrong for the mayor to grab the placard. Well, this is not a political meeting. Why are they carrying placards? Placards shouldn't even be in there in the first place. So context does matter. Let's continue.
When you're gonna cut off Busingo, Grace Kennedy, and Terrylonge from where actually we could go and look job at those factories. And you talk about this more job. They don't know what job opportunities. So you're cutting out the factories them from Portmore.
My God. So it was more of a political thing for him than to really come and speak with the people.
Right, because if you're coming to discuss about develop in a parish, when you're going to talk about Siaga Bill Portmore and XYZ, we don't want to hear, but we want to know why the reason.
And what's the benefit to the people?
What's the benefit, right? And basically, me as a citizen of Jamaica, and that person who live in Portmore, me not sure that benefit me or benefit that because, you know, first I got to change the title. And then they might say they have to identify properties to put the hospital. Those things need to be done in place. And then again, if Portmore going to be a parish, you can't have us as the toll road alone as the main road to just come in Portmore. You have to have a next road. So either you got 60, either you got read about the causeway, because you can't tell us go and Manda to come to Portmore is the alternative route. That cannot be the alternative route. That could never be an alternative route. So it's either you can fix back Portmore causeway, so let us come back into Portmore. And there's a lot of things, there's so much things to be done. There's no cemetery, there's no court. The tax office, that small tax office can't over Portmore alone. That tax office have to go extended. As we even said himself, the tax office, even himself, the tax office extended. We need a proper quarters. We don't have quarters in Portmore.
True.
But you're going to try Portmore, you're going to
try
to
it's missing.
No, that caller is making some very excellent points. Now, I will set these video by Carlos. Listen to this. Not bad.
As we delve into a recent incident involving the Jamaican High Commission in where emojis, those tiny digital symbols we use daily, could disrupt diplomatic relations? Well, brace yourself as we delve into a recent incident involving the Jamaican High Commission in London. On April 5th, 2024, a peculiar event unfolded. Images started circulating online. Images of two former prime ministers, their faces hidden behind a wall of emojis. Now, these weren't just any photos, they were proudly displayed at the Jamaican High Commission in London. The incident sparked public outrage, with many questioning the respect accorded to these notable figures. Swiftly moving forward to April 7th, a mere 2 days later, State Minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Orlando Terrylonge, stepped into the limelight. He responded to the public concerns, stating that this act was not done with his knowledge or permission. Terrylonge,
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No bullshit, bro.
Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop.
known for his diplomatic approach, was quick to address the issue, aiming to quell the rising tide of public dissatisfaction. Fast forward to April 10th, and the saga continues. Terrylonge, in his bid to clarify the situation, reiterated that the use of emojis to block the faces of the former prime ministers was an act done without his consent.
So all he's saying is that he didn't know about it. I never heard one condemnation of it. Very interesting. How many of you guys believe that he did not know about that? If you think he didn't know, put a 1 in the chat. If you think he knows, put a 2 in the chat. If you think he knew about it and he did it, put a 2 in the chat.
Portmore Mayor Leon Thomas has threatened legal action if the bill for the municipality to become the 15th parish is passed in the Senate on Friday, following its passage in the lower house on Tuesday.
I can tell the 28 of them that we are going to court.
They're upset about the fact that the PNP is not going to lie down, and they have galvanized the people. Insane. Because Portmore is a unique place. And listen to the mayor.
Because the people of Portmore voted for a direct elected mayor.
Exactly right.
Not even 1 year now. And for them to do something like this, we are going to make the court decide.
Mayor Thomas, whose job will be directly impacted, has accused Prime Minister Andrew Holness of walking back on his word.
And he's...
No, you have to understand, Mayor, and all of Jamaica and the world. Andrew Holness has never stood on any word or any commitment. This is the same man that promised to have... 1 second. This is the same man that promised to have people first, exactly. This is the same man that promised to have some things done within 100 days of being in office. And not one of those things that he had promised to get done has been done. So we're looking at the characteristic of the Jamaica Labour Party versus the People's National Party. And somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but the Jamaica Labour Party has been found wanting in several different areas. Alright, and let us be really, really clear and fair about that. Let's do a comparison. Okay? Let's really deep dive into it.
That is not going to accommodate any discussion or do anything at this time, because he thinks that there should be a more widespread consultation with the residents of Portmore. With the absence of these conversations, certainly I am now convinced that the haste to have Portmore Parish is purely political.
Some citizens also seem to agree.
Election a come, and that is the reason why them a talk about Portmore to be a parish. You know why them didn't do it long before now? Why now?
Bingo. Right there, lady. Why now? Listen, this is from the meeting. So you hear that nonsense from him, and this is what ultimately, because him have him goons them with him allegedly, you know. People who don't come from Portmore jumping up and down and making up a bag of noise, innit? So that's how that went down. All right, let's go back to the audio from ABR News TV.
It's missing majority of the amenities to really have that parish status.
Oh yeah, this is worth going back on. Listen to all the things that is missing from Portmore. That is all the reasons why Portmore cannot be a parish right now.
That's about this job. They don't want job opportunities. So you're cutting out the factories and Portmore.
I even see at one point one of the gentlemen grab one of the placards. Who was that person?
That was the mayor who grabbed the placard and said, "We're not coming after this. Come out with that. That's not relevant enough. So come out with this." Because it wasn't a political meeting.
Exactly.
It's not a political. It was a meeting to discuss about Portmore becoming a parish, and he was saying that the price of your value gone up. So and he was saying you do more job opportunities than this. So a person look at him and say, job opportunity, when you're gonna cut off Busingo, Grace Kennedy and Caribbean from where actually we could go and look job at those factories. And you talk about this more job. They don't want job opportunities. So you're cutting out the factories and more.
My God. So it was more of a political thing for him than to really come and speak with the people.
Right, because if you're coming to discuss about developing a parish, when you're going to talk about Siaga Bill Portmore and XYZ, we don't want to hear, but we want to know why the reason.
And what's the benefit to the people?
What's the benefit, right? And basically, me as a citizen of Jamaica and a person who lives in Portmore, benefit I benefit that because, you know, first I got to change the title. And then they might say they might identify properties to put the hospital. Those things need to be done in place. And then again, if Portmore going to be a parish, you can't have us as the toll road alone, as the main road to just come in Portmore. You have to have a next road. So either you can fix, either you can read about the causeway, because you can't tell us
So they only have one road, one way in, one way out. What the hell? Are you serious? I must joke you, my man.
What can go so?
I must joke you, my man.
What can go so?
Ain't no way, bro.
What can go so?
Hey, y'all, please remember to hit the like button. I know y'all come in sometimes and y'all forget, but the main thing, man, y'all gotta hit the like button, man, and share the live stream. Come on now. Stop playing. Support. The like button is free, heard? I forgot I have made that soundbite just for y'all. Yeah, all 122 of y'all, please smash the like button.
Go and Mandela to come to Portmore is the alternative. That cannot be the alternative route. That could never be an alternative route. So it's either you can fix back Portmore Causeway, so let us come back into Portmore. And there's a lot of things, there's so much things need to be done. There's no cemetery, there's no court. The tax office, that small tax office can't do Portmore alone. That tax office have to extended. As you even said yourself, the tax office, even yourself, the tax office extended. We need to have a quarters. We don't have a quarters in Portmore.
True.
But you're gonna try Portmore.
So it's missing majority of the amenities to really have that parish status.
Just so, because when people ask me the capital, they can't tell where the capital. Where's gonna be the capital? Nobody knows.
Wow, that's a great point. Where's the capital of Portmore? Portmore is not big enough to be a parish, y'all. This is gerrymandering. It is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Mr. Speaker, the minister has made that point repeatedly, and it is disingenuous.
Of course, yeah.
Under our constitution, constituencies cannot straddle parish boundaries. And when you configure parish boundaries, as this bill does, running through the middle of existing constituencies, you are ipso facto reconfiguring the constituency boundaries. Stop deceiving the people. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
For the 15th parish of Jamaica and 4 connected matters. Mr. Speaker, this bill would have been most appropriately entitled the Gerrymandering of Political Boundaries Bill of 2025.
My God.
We are the capital. If you're going to do the capital, the capital of our country of the market, Because you know most capitals they carry the market, and you're gonna have most like the shopping area them in the capital. You understand what I'm saying? Them not figure them.
So we don't need no eyeglass for really and truly see politics.
It's politics. They're playing. It's plain to see to everybody. It's not like some boy. You put all the things in place, so you can say, all right, we have all things in place now, so you already become city status, and moreover, the government can't cut boundary. It's the electoral office cut boundary. You go to the electoral office and then we do their survey and cut the boundary. You cannot get up by yourself and say you want your bird.
But I am hearing that the boundaries that the EOJ gave them now work with that. So them basically disregard what the EOJ say and them do for them things.
Right.
What?
Right, because
what? So allegedly the EOJ gave them boundaries and they did not take those recommendations. No wonder they got the EOJ in the office of the Prime Minister. Man, the corruption is real. We need to change the name of the highway. Take off the false name and put who built it. Hey, I agree with you, Lawrence.
Because remember saying in previous years ago, the EOJ and this what's his name, Bruce Golding cut boundaries, 2 in St. Catherine and 1 in St. James. If you can remember, that's how Andrew Wheatley get by his seat, and that's how come that Terrylonge is in. And I think I think Malo Marfort is in now. I think that's the next seat.
Yeah.
That's cut. That the boundary them cut. If I'm wrong, can somebody correct me on the St. James seat? I'm 100% sure of the St. James seat. But I'm saying to you that, and it was consensus between the PNP, the JLP, and also the EOJ. Because if you look now, he's cutting the boundary. I said, Warmington speaker said these people have a cut off and got to Dennis Daly. So what I'm...
Let's hear what Warmington had to say about that, ladies and gentlemen.
The most difficult of the 3 was Portmore, and we made it much easier now. I've been fighting before 2011 when we had the last boundary change that Portmore should not be a Spanish town. And today I'm happy to say that we have the boundary that we wanted all along. Quarry Hill, Lake Sten, Lansing Grove, Range Lane and that side will no longer be in Portmore. So the whole of them paying people on the left, then the other thing is doing. And we won't be able to make a decision anymore.
Member of Parliament for Southwest, Warmington has asserted that the Jamaica Labour Party will have control of the Portmore Municipal Corporation once the separation is made.
I can say further, when we take Portmore off of St. Catherine, it's a different ballgame across here. We have 41 seats, now 42 seats. Out of these 42, PNP, you have 12 in Portmore. We won 2, they won 10. Yet they won the St. Catherine Parish Council by 1 seat. 1 seat is going to get 10 from Portmore. Now, give them back them PNP 10. Leave us alone over here. And it means that under no circumstances PNP can ever win the St. Catherine Parish Council again.
Wow.
Even if that's a...
My God.
Could go and do a political meeting. People start saying, now, man.
Hey, how did this happen?
When people start to ask me certain questions, they no answer certain questions, and like they must say your land and tax got better, and then when it come down now to talk.
Sorry, my bad, y'all.
When people start getting that thing, I say shame on you, and then him start and then grab the with them, please. So that was the whole agenda. Because if you go to a meeting to discuss something, why are you going with one person right up, most black can't get person to come there for all up in the meeting? Right up on that one. Sit parish and third term ruling and all and something there.
I even see
go and Mandela to come to Portmore is 6 months. Where's going to be the capital? Nobody don't know you're the capital.
My God.
We are up to the capital. If you're going to do the capital, the capital of our country is the market. Because you know most capitals they carry the market, and you're gonna have most like the shopping area them in the capital. You understand what I'm saying? Them not figure them.
So we don't need no eyeglass for really and truly see politics.
It's politics. They're playing. It's plain to see to everybody. It's not like the boy. You put all the things in place, so you can say, all right, we have all things in place now, so you already become city status, and moreover, the government can't cut boundary. It's the electoral office cut boundary. You go to the electoral office and then we do their survey and cut the boundary. You cannot get up by yourself and say you want your bird.
But I am hearing that the boundaries that the EOJ gave them now work with that. So them basically disregard what the EOJ say and them do for them things.
Right, right. Because remember saying in previous years ago, the EOJ and this what's his name, Bruce Golden cut boundaries, 2 in St. Catherine and 1 in St. James. If you can remember, that's how Andrew Wheatley get by his seat, and that's how come that's Terrylonge is in. And I think I think it's not, but Malo Marfort is in now. I think that's the next seat.
Yeah.
That's cut. That the boundary them cut. If I'm wrong, can somebody correct me on the St. James seat? I'm 100% sure of the St. James seat. But I'm saying to you that, and it was consensus between the PMP, the JLP, and also the EOJ. Because if you look now, he's cutting the boundary. I said, Warmington speaker said these people have a cut off and got to Dennis Daly. So what about their councillor who they vote for, who is in the Portmore?
And the mayor.
What about and the mayor that they vote for? And look at it. Portmore is the only part of Jamaica that have a legislation that we the people ourselves vote specifically for our mayor.
This part is very significant. And you know how Desmond Mackenzie reacted in Parliament when that point was brought up by Fitzjackson. Well, let me show you guys how he reacted. He reacted in the most shameful manner possible.
I wanted to take a look at this from...
In case you don't know, that clip have gone viral, because Andre play on his show. I see how some other content creator put it up on them platforms. So, that clip have gone viral. Listen to this.
I wanted to take a look at this from Desmond Mackenzie, ladies and gentlemen, in a parliament. The mockery of the Portmore people and the people of Jamaica as well, because if they can do this to Portmore, they can do this to anywhere else. If we allow it, it's time for the people of Jamaica to stand up. Take a look at this mockery right here. Total mockery of democracy. Look at this.
Municipality must have at least 1/7 participation by the residents of Portmore. That's what they fought for. What this bill that this government brings here is to say to the people of Portmore, shut your mouth. We will not listen to you. You will determine their boundaries. That's what this bill does.
They didn't even say much, you know. Them basically a mock, you know. A mock we as Jamaicans. This is gerrymandering at its finest. No matter where you hear what nobody want to say. I'm going to make you hear what everyone Warmington have to say. So just to confirm the gerrymandering, I want to listen to this.
The most difficult of the three was Portmore panel. And we have made it much easier now. I've been fighting before 2011 when we had the last boundary change that Portmore should not go to Spanish Town. And today I'm happy to say that we have the boundary that we wanted all along. Quarry Hill, Lakes Bend, Lime Tree Grove, Range Lane on that side will no longer be in Portmore panel. So the whole of them people on the left, then the other Dennis Daly.
Member of Parliament for Southwest, Warmington has asserted that the Jamaica Labour Party will have control of the Portmore Municipal Corporation once the separation is made.
I can say further. When we take Portmore off of St. Catherine, it's a different ballgame across there. We have 41 seats, now 42 seats. Or that is 42 PNP, you have 12 in Portmore. We won 2, they won 10. Yet they won the St. Catherine Parish Council by 1 seat. 1 seat is what they carry 10 from Portmore. Now, give them back them PNP 10. Leave us alone over here. And it means that under no circumstances PNP can ever win the St. Catherine Parish Council again.
Mr. Speaker, this bill would have been most appropriately entitled the Gerrymandering of Political Boundaries Bill of 2025.
Whoa, yo. We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help.
I want to take a look at this.
Nobody can come and say, I them put the mayor. That's all. And no
people
vote. Remove a mayor. Yeah, nobody, no member of parliament can say, him now work with the mayor, move the mayor. Him can't move him. And the mayor, and even the council themselves can't vote and say they don't want the mayor because the people elect the mayor.
So them completely try disregard.
Right.
And then last year the local government election also. Why the rush?
I am saying, if the foot was under the shoes, if the JLP had had the mayor in Portmore, they wouldn't have been all of this. They wouldn't have been all of this. They wouldn't be doing all of this.
Wow.
Everything is politicized because they want to keep a member of parliament in Portmore. Well, if you want to keep a member of parliament, make him do more. And do what he's supposed to do. And service the people then. Because when you're a member of parliament, there's no P and there's no J.
You serve everybody, yeah.
I'm not paying pay tax. I don't live right alone pay tax. Everybody pay tax.
True.
Yeah, people never vote when they get them back, but they pay them tax just to see me like me and pay everything go down, pay them tax.
True.
They pay them light, they pay everything same. This thing is getting from bad to worse.
Really, I get out the answer true.
And when a member of parliament can come to a meeting to discuss something on this level, and you can bring in people with placard and try to politicize a meeting, it don't make sense to sit down and discuss things with these people, man. It don't make sense because if you come to discuss this, this is not thing we're talking. Nobody not come to talk about politics. It was not more than politics. We are just discussing the benefits, what can become, and I want to find out something. That's why I went there, because I want to find out when we become a parish, if the government is going to be responsible for changing our titles, because to change the title, you have to pay money for letters.
Oh, he was the one that said it. Oh man, I didn't remember it was him. This was an excellent point. Are they going to pay for these people changing the titles and all those things, the expenses? Splash Digi, were you at the meeting, bro? If you was at the meeting, calling in, man.
That's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that was my main reason to go there, because I want to find out if the government is responsible for starting them. Me, they give a change in the parish. It's you take it up, because they want to change in the parish.
True.
And have a discussion with you. You know what I mean? So who's going to foot that bill? Are the government of Jamaica going to be responsible for that bill?
But a quick question. It is said that he even said in the that they had a whole lot of meetings with the residents of Portmore. You live in Portmore. Is that so?
Where? In his mind.
Dang.
The resident of Portmore has never got a meeting. Never had a discussion. This is the first meeting I've ever seen people turn to come.
My God.
In his mind. Not with all people. In his mind, man. Him can't tell her that, man. In our mind, him have that meeting.
So based off what this man is saying, they have been lying to us about multiple meetings and sufficient amount of meetings. Well, hey, these people is wicked, man.
What a shame and disgrace.
Even last night, the mayor tell us he's going to try and have back a next meeting with us very soon. He's going to try and reschedule back a meeting. Because that's the way this one ends it.
Yeah, I be a chaos and bangarang last night, so
them need to ban Terrylonge tongue from them meeting here. Yeah, him forget ban. Him out of order. Him don't have any decorum. Yeah, man, him need to lift up boy my car people coming with placard and people from this place so we don't have nothing to do with it. Yeah, man, them need to ban him.
Have more meetings? So the mayor reschedule a meeting with all of the residents.
So tell him when everything is asking for them to be quiet and calm down, and he says to us that he's gonna try to reschedule back a day, and he's gonna send it out and let us know. It's there, so they must say anything last time.
Okay.
You know, just watch that already, man. Right? And its behavior, me like to see you come here and bring people to disrupt a peaceful meeting. That don't make sense, man. You never come there because you come there, people clap here and something. Them support them are relevant, man. They're relevant, man.
Yeah,
it wasn't relevant at all.
Shame and disgrace that.
Yeah, man, that's shame. I say people them say shame on him, man. Shame on him, man. Shame on him. Because the people realize that's what's going on. If you realize, it's not like if anybody in the political shirt are telling shame at him, and people in a regular tools are telling shame at him.
Yeah.
Because when you understand, you know, and you must realize, you know, some people are it's not, don't say people are even know. People are teachers, nurse,
all different profession.
All different position of kind of people they are dealing with. And then like, look at get the people that they can't go for you, they can't go for the stage and say, all them the one that give them $5,000 back suit and then blow to it and then accept that. That's how the people with intelligence.
Yeah.
You know, that's not come back and don't say people from the man, reverse and come and
my God.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry, yeah, man. So it must be so you understand. So they must deal with the thing better than that, man. They have to come wheel and come again, man. Wheel and come again, man. Wheel and come again. Wheel and come again, man. They know it, man. They know it, man. I mean, like, if it was there, it was so chaotic and tense that they have to call in the police and the soldier. It was so chaotic and tense. I'm calling the police and soldier.
So who was the lady? Who was the lady that was holding on to the minister? Was it a police?
I think she was I think she was one of them security team.
Okay.
One security team.
My God.
One security team. Yeah, man. There's a lot of things, man. There's a lot of things. And I think there have to be some more meetings because there's a lot of people that understand this thing and people want to know. People
Then a must, man. Then a must.
People want to know. You cannot jump up and say you want this and you want this and then government promise this and
the fact that there's a lot of people that don't know about it shows you that there was little consultation done in this decision that the JLP has made. Alright, the fact that there was only 4 meetings and the amount of people that was in the mass amount in one of those meetings was 78 shows you they don't want to hear from the people. They don't want to empower the people. They want to do what they want to do. Gerrymandering at its finest. That's why my thumbnail is the way it is. And that's why the title of my video is the way it is. Just poor leadership character being exposed here, ladies and gentlemen. Donna Whittaker, how are you doing?
But we think that we the people employ them. We think that we are the people who are
that me I said too.
So the employer just jump up. The employee, just jump up and say them want parish status and them not include.
Yeah, you think to people. Oh, God. You think to people, man. So if you as a mother now, you as a lady now living in Portmore and you're gonna give us parish status now. And based on what is the after I'm gonna build today, if you ever start, you're gonna build hospital. That's not done within the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, probably 5 years more. You understand? You can't build a big mediocre start with the people then. You have to build something that's modern hospital. True. Modern KPH, modern even hospital and these things. And then I'm gonna take a fast time. I would even if you have allocated the funds to do that. Promise that come to office. If you are in there for the last 9 years and you said you want Portmore to be a parish, why don't you put the necessary things in place? That means you have to resident seat here, I have give you this, I have give you that, and I have ensured all these things in place. No, you are ready for this. Are you ready for that? And then you go to the proper channel, go to the EOJ, everybody, and anything the EOJ say, you work with us as a government. You can't go and decide, say, where you want to go boundary. Government have decided where they want to go boundary. That's the EOJ job. Go boundary.
My God.
That's why the EOJ go boundary to make sure there's a balanced vote in everywhere. That means that too much people don't want this voters list. Too many people don't want that voters list. But you cannot go to the EOJ without the office of the EOJ, and you will check the office of the EOJ. So that means that you feel like you will just cut to this the way you want to do some more politicize your thing and do your thing. Not gonna work, man. Can't work. And not gonna work.
My God.
Not gonna work. And it's seriously not gonna work. And they have to come good and come to the table with proper.
I even hear some of the other residents are saying that they should roll back that bill.
Long time, because, alright, if you are by the child now, and Portmore become a parish, you have to ban either Spanish Town or Kingston.
So what's the sense?
St. Andrew. So what's the sense?
Yeah.
What's the sense? You can't man the parish wherever you go, so.
Yeah.
You can't go, so. You can't man the parish. If you're going to bury, your desire to bury Portmore, I think the parish, I'm going to bury them a parish now. I'm going to bury a parish, I'm going to bury. What am I going to bury? You have to go to St. Catherine, and you have to go in Kingston.
People, if you don't want to hear the rest of the conversation, then we'll have to go over to ABR News. You know? Yeah. The brother has said enough, in my opinion, to clearly expose that this move that the JLP is doing to make Portmore a parish is definitely gerrymandering at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. More I hear from the people in Portmore in the comment section. Portmore massive. I'm gonna roll out in the comment section. Alright? Alright, so I have to touch upon this real quick, guys. You know, this is a hard topic. I have to touch upon that topic, yeah. I want to Juliet Wellness.
Offices. Is this true or false? Get the answer at the end of this introduction to the...
We call people at the PP.
Ladies and gentlemen, me never know say Juliet Wellness a bully. Me never know say Juliet Wellness a bully. Uno come and look a bit there. Make we examine or really go on the parliament. I think I write about here so real quick, cause what can go so? Juliet Wellness a bad girl.
Are paid to do, and in the interest of efficiency in the procurement process, it was felt that the sector committee again is just a duplication and an entity whose time has come for it to be taken out of the procurement process. 22.5.
November 20.
Me say Juliet Wellness run up and shame Fearful Williams. You know, look good.
Right. All right. That he note that there are a number of goods and services that will be exempt.
Florence, Wagwan.
Be exempt in services for Grand Gala, for example. Yes, the creative industry. Yes. Yes. All of those services. The member from St. Andrews South asked about the definition of open national competition. Open national competition, member, means it will be open just to Jamaicans. Why? Why? And then, it's not where it's advertised. And similarly, side of Jamaica. And call off contracts, and yes, you are correct for particular goods or service, and would be done. But the list on at
You coming like Juliet Wellness get upset cause Mark Golding attack so much, cause she don't like Mark Golding, you know. From Mark Golding call her out be the speaker of the house, you know, a sour relationship right there, so. From him call out the conflict of interest. Yeah.
I mean, these are the different methods of procurement, right? That's there on 22A. All right, I'll come back to that one.
Me not lie still, the dialogue between Mark Golding and Fearful here, so it seemed very respectful. And probably that's the reason why Juliet did have a problem, because you can hear a pin drop in the house. I first hear the House of Representatives so quiet with so much people in there.
Okay. All right, according to the levels of competition. So negotiation are asked about repeat. You would want that, right? What, open competition? Competition would include open national competition. The member procurement debt, do activities with the national debt. That was added. Transactions. All right. You will note that there is also states.
Constant interruption, and leader of the opposition.
All right. So the new proposed.
We have action.
Minister and leader of the opposition. This is very unusual. Very, very unusual. No, this is most inappropriate. This constant interruption and back and forth is not the way that we would normally. Members, I do not need your assistance. Members.
She's uncomfortable with Favour Williams having a respectful back and forth about, like, what the...
Minister, take a seat, please.
She's visibly upset. Look at her.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I think Madam Speaker, I rise on a point of order. The Minister, Madam Speaker.
Acting House Leader.
Thank you for your guidance, my Clarendon colleague.
Big up, Sharon.
I think the member should be allowed to either conclude the debate, or if the leader of the opposition has additional questions, there's an appropriate approach by the standing orders that he can use to ask these questions. The off-mic interruptions of the President, though the points may be valid, it's not the appropriate mechanism. So with all due respect to the leader of the opposition, if we are governed by a standing order, my friend, we are governed by standing orders, not by your opinion. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, the leader of the opposition in his presentation did rightfully pose certain questions. Those questions were not sufficiently clarified, and hence the back and forth. It might be appropriate, Madam Speaker, as you have noted, that a pause because there has to be some changes that flow already from what the questions have elicited. There might have to be a pause to enable the draft people to do those amendments before we are able to terminate, before we are able to conclude this debate.
Leader of opposition business, with the utmost respect, that's the challenge I have. I have not identified even one amendment. I am not able to identify even one amendment to the discussion. So what happened? I am speaking. Opposition leader, I am speaking. I am on the floor.
Watch out! What coupon she to?
Hey, who mess is this?
Look how shabbling fear guy them. Who mess is this? What a banger. Are them something I want? Look what she to.
Even one amendment. I am not able to identify even one amendment to the discussion. So what happened? I am speaking. Opposition leader, I am speaking. I am on the floor. So when the discussion goes in the way it is going, where you have had the opportunity to outline the concerns, recommendations, suggestions, and questions, and then the minister is answering, and you are not on the mic, it is not recorded in Hansard, the public is not hearing anything that you have to say, it becomes a disjointed interruption between the minister and yourself, and it actually does not carry well. So, the minister can't just have a conversation with you alone. She has a duty to the members of parliament in here and the rest of the country. So, right, so nobody is hearing you, opposition leader, at all. Nobody hears you if you're not on the mic.
He is upset. Lord have mercy. Man, she is upset, y'all. Damn. I hope it's not your cup.
Go.
Minister, you may not want to speak until the house is quiet.
She's not making no break. I said, come on, she said, send her.
Anyway.
Okay, so
Members,
from
allow
St.
Minister
South,
to conclude her response.
Just going to explain the difference. You were talking about the national versus international, open national. Those are levels of competition that speaks to, in clause 9, the methods of competition. Okay. All right, so we'll deal with it in committee stage. All right. And you had asked about what are the new amendments. The procurement of banknotes and coins for issue by the Bank of Jamaica, that is new.
Minister, if you continue to have a conversation with one individual who is not on the mic and is not making a presentation, then you also contribute to the disorder in the House. Minister, you're not speaking to one individual. You had a series of questions and discussion, and you are responding for the benefit of the entire Parliament and all of Jamaica.
Okay. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
You see how she hit the button hard? This lady got an anger problem. You know who run that house, right? You know who run that house, right? Yeah, she got an anger problem. She one of them. She one of them.
The new proposed amendments are the procurement of banknotes and coins for issue by the Bank of Jamaica, the implementation by the Bank of Jamaica of monetary policy and foreign exchange policy through financial contracts, financial advisory services procured from the International Finance Corporation in respect of road development projects in Jamaica, and technical cooperation and assistance for the provision of goods, works, and services pursuant to any agreement between the Government of Jamaica through the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority and the Government of the Republic of Singapore through the Singapore Cooperation Enterprise related to or connected with the implementation of the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiatives. Thank you. Those are, Madam Speaker, those are the new proposed exemptions. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Minister, would you kindly consider whether you're electing to close the debate or whether you are going to continue?
Yeah, this did not go well. And this lady's exposing herself more and more. Man, I can't wait for Mark Golding to win the election. I'm talking about the only issue I have with the PMP is not an issue. I need to hear from them in regards to the Samoa agreement. That's it. That's all. I need to know where they stand with the Samoa law. That is a very important issue for me personally. All right? Because that's going to determine whether or not I want to grow and have kids in Jamaica. Real talk. All right? Big facts. Big facts. But let me hear what Mark Golding had to say here.
Madam Speaker, I just want to, first of all, say I appreciate the decision made last week not to rush through this particular bill on the day the debate commenced, but to allow some time, a week in this instance, for members on both sides who may wish to prepare to do so. I think that is the best practice. That is what the standing orders contemplate as the norm, and I think it is always to be maintained unless there is some serious exigency that requires it to be departed from. Madam Speaker, the Public Procurement Act was enacted under the last People's National Party administration and represented a fundamental overhaul of the procurement system in the public sector in Jamaica. And it has been subject to some adjustments over time, which is not surprising given how complete a departure it was from what existed before. And of course, regulations have also been made pursuant to the Act in an attempt to put into implementation some of the potential innovations that the Act contemplated. The extent to which those innovations are in fact having an impact is unknown to us. I don't know if the Minister has data on that, but the idea of using procurement to encourage economic development through giving more vulnerable, less well-endowed economic actors an opportunity to do business with the government and to grow their business and expand through the significant procurement power that the state has was one of the positive aspects of this legislation. And it would be good to know to what extent it is actually having that effect. Minister, there are a few questions I have on the bill which I would appreciate being answered, whether today or if you want to close it on another occasion, that would be, of course, your call. But I begin with the new Section 5, or the amendments to Section 5, which is a definition section. This is in Clause 2 of the bill. And it relates to the definition initially of open national competition. And it says that open national competition means a procurement opportunity advertised in Jamaica only. So the hook used by the definition that determines whether or not something is open national competition is where the advertising of the procurement opportunity takes place. Now, in the world we live in, where virtually everything is on the internet, the fact that something is exclusively advertised here does not necessarily mean that the persons who respond to that and who seek to take up that opportunity are in fact lawfully doing business in Jamaica. And so if the intent of this concept of open national competition is to have that part of the procurement process open to Jamaican actors or firms that have established a place of business here and are lawfully transacting business here, hooking that on where the opportunity is advertised is not an efficacious way of achieving that objective. So I just wanted you to respond to that, Minister, to explain what is the underlying policy directive behind that definition, and explain whether or not the way in which it has been couched achieves that policy objective. Similarly, or relatedly, the definition of open international competition makes no reference to the fact that the opportunity may have to be advertised internationally, for example. It doesn't relate to the definition of open national competition. It's not structured in the same kind of way. It simply says means a procurement opportunity for participation by any supplier. So it surprised me because I thought that if you're juxtaposing open international competition with open national competition, the definitions would relate to each other in a coherent way, whereas one of them speaks to being advertised locally and the other doesn't use a concept of advertising at all in it, but simply says it's an opportunity for participation by any supplier. And it really makes me wonder whether the open national competition definition is really adequate for the policy purpose that underlies that concept. I move to another definition, and this is a definition of restricted competition. And I'll read it in tandem with what is now going to be Section 22A, big A, of the new Part 3 of the Act. And that new Part 3 is introduced by Clause 9 of this bill, which is on page 4. And one notes that in subsection 1 of the new 22A section, it lists 6 different methods of conducting procurement: open bidding, restricted bidding, single source procurement, request for proposals without negotiation, request for proposals with consecutive negotiations, or request for quotations. So there's some specific methodologies that are listed in that. When you go back and look at the definition of restricted competition, it says restricted competition means a procurement opportunity that is limited to a single source procurement or to participation by 2 or more selected suppliers. Now, neither of those two concepts used in the definition of restricted competition are mentioned in that list of procurement methodologies in 22A subsection 1. Yes, sorry, participation, yes, exactly, you're correct. But they don't, it doesn't encapsulate any others of the list there. And because the word, you have restricted bidding in B, but that is not included in the definition of restricted competition, it's a bit confusing as to how the concept of restricted competition relates to the list in 22A1. I would have thought that the definition of restricted competition would at least be clear as to which of those methodologies listed in 22A1 fall within that rubric. And one would have thought, for example, that restricted bidding would be one example of that, but it isn't mentioned in the definition at all. And I'm just pointing this out because this legislation has to be used by economic actors, and it's important that it be clear to users, and it's a somewhat, I would say, technical piece of legislation. It is a procurement in the public sector is a bit of a specialized field. And so things that may be obvious to persons who practice their careers exclusively or mainly in that field are not necessarily clear to users who don't spend their life in that domain. So it's quite important that the legislation be coherent and that the definitions and the substantive provisions work well together so that it's easy to follow what is intended. I move on to clause 10 of the bill, and this is a new section 23 that is replacing the existing section 23. And subsection 1 has a general rule in it. It says, except as otherwise provided for in sections 24 and 25, a procuring entity shall conduct procurement by means of open competition. Now, open competition is not a defined term, as far as I know. Maybe I don't know if it's defined in the Principal Act, but it's not defined in the bill before us. And it seems to me that given that that's the general rule, there ought to be an explanation of what that means, especially since there's so many other terms of art being used in the legislation around different approaches to procurement. And I felt that that was something which ought to be considered. I move to clause 13 of the bill, and this is to do with framework agreements and so-called call-off contracts that are, as I understand it, procurement exercises that are done pursuant to a general agreement that governs all of those. So you have a framework agreement in place. It may be, let us say, for example, it could be in relation to clause 13 on page 8. So you might have a framework agreement governing, let us say, procurement of computer equipment for the government. And then you would have these call-off contracts, which would be from time to time, as a particular MD&A may need to buy something, that it will be done pursuant to the framework agreement, and presumably in a more simple fashion, because the governing framework is set out in the master agreement that we call a framework agreement. So these call-out contracts would be simple contracts that just incorporate, perhaps by reference, the detailed provisions that would be in the framework agreement. Subsection 3 of this it's actually 25F is a provision in the Act, but clause 13 is the one amending it. Subsection 3 says the procurement contract approval limit for call-off contracts in the framework agreement is the aggregate estimated value of anticipated call-off contracts projected to be awarded under the framework agreement. So when you are intending to engage in procurement under this framework agreement mechanism, you have to the procuring entity has to make a projection of the aggregate estimated value of anticipated call-off contracts to be awarded during the term of the agreement. And that can be over a period of years. I can't remember how many years it's permitted to run for. But what my question really was, what happens if prices move in that period? Should there not be some mechanism for inflation-related adjustments? Because if you're capped at an aggregate, which is set at the beginning of the life of the framework agreement, you could find that due to whatever international or local events that weren't contemplated, prices move, and then it kind of throws out your whole procurement arrangement, because you hit the limit, whether the volume of what you are buying hasn't been yet achieved, for example. So I thought it might have been useful to build in the idea that the aggregate should be inflation indexed, so that it's self-adjusting for the life of the framework agreement. It was a thought that occurred to me. If I was drafting it, I would put that in, put it that way, in a commercial agreement. The next question I have for you, Minister, relates to clause 21, which is repealing the first schedule to the Act and substituting a new first schedule. Now, as the member for South East St. Andrew has indicated, the list in the new first schedule is very extensive. And I have some questions on the specifics of that list. But before I get to that, my question for you is this. Is this list in the new first schedule, that's part of this bill, is it identical in content to the existing first schedule that exists today? Or are there items which have been omitted, which used to be subject to this exemption, or new items that have been added that were not previously exempt from the provisions of Parts 3 and 5 of the Act? So this is important because the extent to which anything appears on this list means that the procurement rules applicable to it are much more limited and therefore, much more amenable, potentially, to things that we don't want to happen. So it's important, and it's such an extensive list, as the member who spoke before me said. I mean, for example, consultancy services, is that the word they use? That is a huge and very uncertain domain. You can consult on anything. So, I mean, it is, you can be a consultant on sea turtles. You can be a consultant.
People, read between the lines. Even if you don't understand fully all the fancy word he's using, basically, what I'm getting from this is it's not clear enough, and it leaves open things that we don't want to happen, like mass corruption. Yeah, that's what is being exposed here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, these questions that Mr. Golden is asking is very, very important questions. Let's continue.
A consultant on artificial intelligence. You can be a consultant on football gear. You can be a consultant on virtually anything. So for that to be in a list of exemptions seems to me to create a big loophole in the procurement system. I had a more specific question. Item X on this list, which is on page 12, mentions national level financial transactions. And I was just wondering if you could confirm what a national level financial transaction is. Is a national level financial transaction intended to be a transaction to raise finance in the domestic market? Is that what it means? Or is a national level financial transaction a financial transaction that's being entered into by Jamaica as a nation state? That, I think, was the two possible different interpretations of what that means. It's not a term of art, and I think it needs to be clarified what is intended by it. Because if it means something, a transaction involving the domestic financial markets, the capital markets in Jamaica, that's one thing. Or if the definition could either be, or the term national financial transaction could either be focusing on the domain where the transaction is being executed, or it could focus on the party that is doing the transaction, who is executing the procurement, as being a national level actor, i.e. the government of Jamaica. It wasn't clear to me what this meant, and I thought it'd be useful for that to be explained. And the other point I want to make is that we have here that procurements during a period of public emergency are exempted, and given the regularity with which we have states of emergency being declared in Jamaica over the last several years, it seems to me that this really opens a potential for abuse in the procurement by the Ministry of National Security of services. The services, Portaloos, their food, Portaloos, etc. This is a big gap that that really there ought to be in the way in which you have been using states of emergency, there's absolutely no reason to exempt procurement from the procurement rules for that. None. Yeah, none whatsoever. None whatsoever, because these states of emergency come and go, and you hardly notice them nowadays, other than the fact that they are.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? They are exempt from the procurement rules? Wait a minute, let's go back to that.
It seems to me that this really opens a potential for abuse in the procurement by the Ministry of National Security of services. The services, Portaloos, their food, Portaloos, etc. This is a big gap that that really there ought to be there's in the way in which you have been using that. Or it could focus on the party that is doing the transaction, who is executing the procurement, as being a national level actor, i.e. the government of Jamaica. It wasn't clear to me what this meant, and I thought it'd be useful for that to be explained. And the other point I want to make is that we have here that procurements during a period of public emergency are exempted, you know, and given the regularity with which we have states of emergency being declared in Jamaica over the last several years, you know, it seems to me that this really opens a potential for abuse in the procurement by the Ministry of National Security of services. The services, Portaloos, their food, Portaloos, etc. This is a big gap that you're
I am so happy that Mark Golden raised this point. Mark Golden is definitely the man for the job. Ladies and gentlemen, he is asking all the right questions. Excuse me, because I personally don't trust this government that is in power right now. I don't trust them as far as I can push them. Alright? Those little things, those every minute you see these states of emergency, no procurement, so they could just run money through states of emergency. Just run money through it. Run money through it. Little checks and balances, huh?
That really there ought to be there's in the way in which you have been using states of emergency, there's absolutely no reason to exempt procurement from the procurement rules for that. None. Yeah, none whatsoever. None whatsoever, because these states of emergency come and go, and you hardly notice them nowadays, other than the fact that they are announced. But in terms of their operational impact, you drive through the areas concerned, you don't see any difference whatsoever as to what is going on. So it seems to me that this is a peculiar exemption, given the way in which they are being used. But Madam Speaker, those are my questions and comments on this bill. I would be grateful for substantive responses, well-considered and well-informed responses to the questions raised. And I thank you for the opportunity to have made my presentation today. Thank you.
Big up Marky G. Apart from, you know, the little stint that, what's her name? Juliet Onis had with Faithful William embarrassing the lady. That was constructive questions. That's something you could watch over and over again and take pointers to. We need to watch this procurement thing, man. We got to keep an eye on it. You know what I'm saying? Really got to keep an eye on it. So let me know what y'all think about that. Storm up the comment section. Alright, my good people. I'll see y'all later. That's my time. That's all I got for you today. I'm not going to stress it. I haven't been feeling 100%, you know. But, you know, I still got to come on here and deliver. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section. See y'all later. Peace.